We live, bro. We
What's
live. We
good,
in the
y'all?
mix.
Hey, today is Black Woman Wednesday, brought to you by the Chop Up. You know what I mean? Hey, tell a friend to follow the Chop Up page. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my people on Instagram. Even though we live right now, I'm trying to get my people over from Instagram to go to the Facebook Chop Up Show or go to the YouTube Chop Up Show, and you can be able to check us out live right now. I know I told y'all I'll be going live at 9:30. It's 9:54. We on CP time. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna take back in with y'all Instagram. But do me a favor and go over to the Facebook Chop Up, YouTube Chop Up Show. Check us out, man. We
Hey,
getting
and
into it.
while he had them instructions to his Instagram audience, as y'all come in, y'all say what's up, man. Black women, we trying to hear from y'all specifically. You know what I mean? It's a lot we got to address today, specifically pertaining to you, because as a part of the Chop Ups Freedom Week, celebrating all week up until Juneteenth. Today is Black Women Wednesday, where we showing our appreciation, our love, and our respect to our sisters. You feel me? So we want y'all to be a part of the conversation, and of course, the news and everything that's going on right now. It's a lot to talk about as it pertains to our sisters. So that's going to be a large part of this conversation. Y'all like the video, share the video. You know what I'm saying? And again, say what's up as y'all come in the building. We about to get it started in a minute. As we share it, as we normally do.
Yeah.
You
Y'all
know,
share that. Do that right there. Do that right there. They done switched it up on me on Instagram and made it where I don't even know how to make it where the live still post. I don't want to post it
hey,
from
and we
live.
got your folks from IG showing up too, George. You know what I'm saying? So hey, we in here. Yo, we about to get it in. We got an interesting Snapchat, you know what I'm saying, to talk about. We got our conscious chop and we got our culture chop we're gonna get into. We gonna make the link available to our sisters. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make the link available to our sisters so y'all can come on. Toya will not be joining us today, unfortunately. This
All
is
the
her
black
birthday.
women.
This is her birthday week. You feel me? Tomorrow is her birthday, so she gonna be doing her celebrations. Uh, um, and so that's why we need y'all help, because we can't have these conversations with just, you know what I'm saying, two brothers on here. We want to make sure we get the input of the sisters. You feel me? Jaleesa Hampton. You feel me? We're gonna get her the link. She gonna come in and she definitely gonna be a part of the conversation. This is a debate genius. You know what I'm saying? The OG in the game. We just getting it all shared.
Oh yeah, definitely. I bet you. I'm just sharing this link one more time to the Facebook page, and now I'm tuned in. Now we get in live for y'all. For my first time viewers of the Chop Up Live. We get real raw, real fast. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? We both are former debaters, so we talk a little fast. So just keep up. You know what I'm saying? Feel
yeah.
free to engage. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share. This is going to be available on all podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Blog Talk Radio, you name it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, give me just a second. Hey, so if you got it shared, George.
But yeah, we ready though. I'm ready. We good.
Right. I'm also
Talking
having
about what's
some
going on.
DoorDash
You
issues.
quiet over there, sir. What's going
Hey,
on?
I'm having some DoorDash issues. My fault. Get it taken care of for the wifey. You know what I'm saying?
What you on? What you
But
on
you know,
mute?
all right, let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking.
I can't.
I'm
I
gonna go ahead
can't
and
hear
get the
you.
banner up. You can't hear me at all? You can't hear me at all?
Damo.
Hey, make sure. Hey, what's up with the audio? Let's make sure the audio right. Audience, if y'all can hear me,
What's
y'all put
going
ones
on?
in there. I can hear you, bro. Let me make sure it's picking up my audio. Yeah, it's picking up my audio. Get your get your shit right. Oh yeah, we
Hey, Damo,
good.
can you
And we
hear me?
got yeah, I can hear you, bro. I can hear you.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. So let's see. Is these iPod, earpod?
Yeah. Hey, so while he get that taken care of, we're gonna go ahead and bring it in.
That's what happened when you get the off
Um,
brand. I
Let
thought
me
of
go
it.
ahead and get this started. And what's good with y'all?
Go to the
We
core,
back for
man.
another edition of the Chop Up. It's your boy Damo, the political plug in the building. I'm in here with your boy George Lee. He getting his audio worked out, his audio fixed. You know what I'm saying? But we here again, and of course it's Freedom Week. We still celebrating Freedom Week. You know what I'm saying? Juneteenth is this Friday. You know what I mean? And as a part of celebrating up until that point, celebrating Blackness. The Chop Club has been celebrating Freedom Week. We started Monday with Black Money Monday. We shouted out all our Black businesses. Tuesday was our Black LGBT Tuesday. You feel me? Where we shouted out all the beautiful Black LGBT people that made an impact on our lives. And today is Black Women Wednesday. All right. And because of that, we want any sisters that want to chime in on the platforms, especially a part of the conversation that we have today. We about to make that link available to y'all so y'all can chime in and give y'all a perspective on what's going on. You feel me? George dropped out. Let's get him
Hey,
back
I'm
in
back.
there. You know what I'm saying? George, say what's up to the people, bro. Now you got your audio right.
Yeah, hey, yeah, man. Now I got my audio back. What's going on, y'all? We finna have a real nice conversation, giving I think a commemoration to this Black Women Wednesday. I encourage all everybody that's tuned in to definitely chime in the comment section, especially my Black women. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And so, without further ado, you said you had a snapshot ready for us?
Yeah, man. So
Let's go ahead and get it to the snapshot.
So this snapshot we gonna call that is you staying in the past, like grammatically incorrect. Is you staying in the past? So we know that recently, due to all of the, I'm gonna call it racial empowerment of different people to kind of speak out against, I think, different things that we find being racially insensitive or being caught up in some type of racial injustice. So we see throughout the South there is numerous of states dealing with what I'm gonna call Confederate statue controversy. You know what I'm saying? And we know, is you in the past? We know that Black people are always kind of chastised for being stuck in the past. And we see that these people now that's crying about these Confederate statues being jacked up and taken away, we see they ain't got that same energy for chastising Black folks for being in the past for their ass. Diamond, what you got to say about that, man?
Hey, man. Yeah, that's why I feel you. Essentially, what's happening is with the statues that are coming down, white people are trying to find ways to kind of make up for the shit because they know what's up. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of symbolic shit that's really empty and don't really have a lot of value. But a part of that is tearing down these statues, which is causing a lot of other white folk to be pissed. Personally, I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, tear them all down. Do I feel like it actually reversed any of the history associated with it? Nah. But to go away from memorializing colonizers, you feel me? Like motherfuckers who made their name off murder and rape and all that other shit. Yeah, we can say fuck that. We really don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess one of the offhand victories that came out of the protest is just niggas just fucking up statues and the people around just being like, okay.
What? I know people. You can't change history. You're trying to erase history.
Well, but that's from that audience, right? But you got like the people in charge. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's fucked up. Like they tore it down. Let's just keep it down. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like they got rid of Christopher Columbus statues. They've gotten rid of all that type of shit. So
yeah, they got
you know
rid
what I'm
of some
saying?
Confederate
Like
generals. They didn't got rid of some. You feel me? To me, I think this is the last thing I say on the Snapchat, but then we keep it rolling, man. I think that for all the people that was saying that Colin Kaepernick and those ungrateful sons of bitches in the NFL taking them knees was disrespecting the flag and disrespecting all the fallen troops, to me, I feel like it's showing how they are lost in the sauce of patriotism and bullshit, and seeing that when it comes to
shameless
disrespecting the
plug.
flag, it is what it is. Disrespecting, I feel like when it comes to disrespecting, you feel me, the troops and all of the traditions associated with America, we see how they pick and choose how they be able to characterize that. Because in my mind,
Yeah.
you feel me, if this flag represents people that was willing to go to war with America, if you a patriot, that means that you will feel like the Confederate flag is more disrespect than anything because it literally was counterintuitive You feel me? It was oppositional to everything America stood for or supposed to stand for, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? That's if you lost in a sauce of patriotism and feel like, you know, them symbols supposed to mean something.
Right. I mean, that's facts. Like, fuck them statues. Like, y'all, the Confederacy lost specifically. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Columbus was a rapist. Let's start at least not memorializing the bullshit history is at least a start in getting and completely moving away from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Man. So let's go ahead and get into this culture chop though. Because this is what everybody is here. This is what everybody is for. You know what I'm saying? We all know what's up. J. Cole released the track Snow on the Bluff.
Snow on the Bluff.
It's a song that is actually referencing a mockumentary, if you will. That's a good thing to call it. Snow on the Bluff. Go ahead, tell the people about Snow on the Bluff, George, just to give my background.
Shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to my hometown best friends, Stacy and Corn, you feel me? We used to watch Snow on the Bluff, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, we used to watch Snow on the Bluff like a lot, you know what I'm saying? Just laugh at the shit, right? Snow on the Bluff is a mockumentary of it follows this guy by the name of Kurt Snow in I think it's East Atlanta. Is it East Atlanta or is it South Atlanta? I don't know what side of Atlanta it is, you feel me? But them niggas in Atlanta, we get to see him kind of stage, him kind of stealing a gun in a camera, and basically him using that camera to kind of document his life in reality of being in the hood. And we see him cooking dope, we see him shooting guns, we see his baby mama getting murdered by the niggas he's beefing with. We see a whole bunch of things, you know what I'm saying? So I think that when we think about this J. Cole rhyme, this, but I feel like he let me down, you feel me? When we think about this track though, I think that it's very purposeful to think about how it is titled and what that and how that informs the art in terms of what is he trying to convey with labeling the song Snow in the Bluff.
Right. What's the purpose of that? But before we get into that, let's get into the controversy though. Now, the controversy stems from specifically Noname has been very vocal. You know what I'm saying? She's a black woman artist, dope as hell. I first heard her on Fucking with Chance the Rapper, and then when I first heard her, I was like, you know what I'm saying? She's tight. But she's been vocal, especially with everything that's going on about celebrities, about these male rap artists. You feel me? About what they're doing, what they're saying as it pertains to the protest, George Floyd, and all of this shit. You know what I mean? As well as she should be. And J. Cole felt like some of her punches, you know what I'm saying, landed his way. As some would say, a hit dog hollered. You know what I'm saying? So in his song specifically, in the song specifically, he addresses a particular black woman who he has a lot of respect for, who he finds to be very intelligent. You know what I'm saying? And while he's giving her these compliments, while he's appreciating what she's doing, what she's speaking out on, he has a problem with her tone. He has a problem with how she's saying it. You feel me? And which he says specifically, he says something about her tone. He doesn't fit right with him. He feels like, you know, when you were overly aggressive or however he put it, when you push hard like that, when you're extremely critical like that, sometimes it's hard to get that message across. In the verse, he's explaining that when you want to get an important message like the message that she's trying to deliver, when you want to get that off to a group of people, what you want to make sure you do is you talk to them people in a way where it's loving and all of that other shit. You know what I mean? And black people didn't take that too well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Specifically our sisters. They did not appreciate it. Which I'm actually about to drop the link now. So any of the sisters that want to get on have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, man, but we definitely want to hear from y'all. Right now, we just
George, what's your perspective on the backlash though?
Man, my perspective on the backlash is I kind of got mixed feelings about it actually. I do think that J. Cole did slip into some tone policing of black women and kind of getting into those tropes of being able to say that black women are being obnoxious or being difficult or being angry. You know what I'm saying? He didn't use this terminology. He didn't say this. I think that the things that he was signaling, however, was getting into the ways that black women are pathologized that way. I do understand that, right? But I do think that in terms of it being like rap, like it's rap. You feel me? I feel like people getting a little bit sensational in how they kind of structuring their criticisms about J. Cole specifically when it comes to, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of the criticisms, I feel like a lot of these popular criticisms that's being retweeted and reshared and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But I do think there is a criticism. The last thing I say, and then, you know what I'm saying, I definitely want to hear what you want to say about it, is that a lot of people are correlating criticisms with cancellation. You feel me? And I think that it's important to have a nuance to understand that just because you're criticizing something, it doesn't mean that you have to cancel it or that you're trying to cancel it. And it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I'll leave it at that.
So I'm gonna say this. I first want to speak as a fan, and then I'm gonna speak, you know what I'm saying, as a black man. I'm gonna speak as a fan first, and then I'm gonna speak as a black man. As a fan, I recognize that what he said, that verse was a stream of consciousness. What he was doing was, given that criticism, he went through his thought process, right? He went through like okay. When she said that, this is what inspired me to write. So these are my thoughts as I work through what she said, as well as what's going on. Because I mean, as a fan, I'm looking at him from the perspective of an artist and why he would put this out. What was the meaning of it? So if you hear this through this explanation, if you hear like it's, you know what I'm saying, trying to explain some things, to understand some things, that's from the perspective of a fan. You feel me? And from that perspective, this is, you see the verse as a stream of consciousness where he's actually accepting a lot of the criticism. And by the end of the verse, he's literally saying that I feel that criticism. I feel like I'm not doing enough. Which is, when you look at Noname's tweets, is essentially what the argument is. You know what I'm saying? And so from that perspective, from the perspective of a fan, what he's doing, like you just saw him being human. And a lot of what we saw, what in terms of what was wrong with what he said, was like that nigga just playing out. That nigga that we critical of, we ain't accepting of it, but that's what it was. That song wasn't a message. It was just like some thoughts and emotions that he turned into a song. As a rapper, that's what he did.
I feel like he being consistent in terms of him being at battle with his inner desires of a nigga. What did he say? A nigga want to be a nigga. Be a nigga.
Be a nigga. Yeah. He been saying that. Like,
what did he say though specifically?
I mean, he was saying like shit. I mean, and that's all he was talking about, like fucking with women. He was talking about
but what is the lyrics though? What is the lyrics? A nigga want to be a nigga. Be a nigga.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Okay, but you ain't really a J. Cole fan.
No, I know what it is. I'm not trying to mumble it. I'm not trying to mumble it around though. You feel me? Because you're talking about the Runaway joint. Don't disrespect
Runaway.
I know exactly what it is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, I know what you're talking about. But this is a common theme about him though. Like one of the songs in Let Nas Down, when he was like, I'm just apologies to OGs for sacrificing the art. I'm here for a greater purpose. I knew right from the start. I'm just a man of the people, not above but equal. And for the greater good, I walk amongst the evil. Like from his mindset, if we trying to talk to a people, you got to be a part of those people. You got to be with them people. You feel me? So what he's trying to express to her from his perspective is like, hey, I feel what you're saying. You know what I mean? But it like, for example, and then I say this part, and then I'll move away from being a fan. And I speak from the perspective of a black man that's trying to do better. What he did, what he was explaining to her, is the reason why black people view. Hey, and Jaleesa, if you're still watching, I sent you the link. I've also put the link in the chat for any sisters that want to hop on and get an input. Without Toya here, we definitely need that element, and it's Black Women Wednesday, so we showing that
Black women presence and voices on the show.
right. But what J. Cole was explaining to Noname was the reason why woke, conscious, hotel are all phrases that have negative connotations now. Being woke has a negative connotation because how people perceive woke people to be. Woke people are always, you know what I'm saying, lecturing. Woke people are always criticizing. Conscious people are always trying to fuck something up. You feel me? And people feel that way because how when people got that information and they trying to get it off to people, they come off a particular way. You feel me? And that turns people off. And it fucks up the message.
Yeah, but I think that's valid. But I think that me understanding that the when it comes to being conscious or when it comes to being woke, a lot of those sentiments is dominated by masculine bodies and masculine energy, right? So I feel like she deserves her own nuance and how J. Cole came at her, because it's like, hey, you can't just lump her in with them hotep niggas. You can't just lump her in with the conscious niggas and the woke niggas. It's Noname. You feel me? And I think she's going about a different way and giving her shit. I read her tweet too. She's given the books. She's given the articles. She's literally saying, read this.
Yeah. No. I know that, bro. And to be honest, I don't think that woke term is fairly applied in any way. I don't think it's fair. You feel me? Like people that's like speaking above, I don't think it's fair for us to have that negative. So I don't want to put, even though it has a negative connotation, I don't think people that are actually considered woke deserve that negative connotation. But it's how you come off to people. You know what I'm saying? Like you and me both, we've been told like niggas done felt like we was boot, you know what I'm saying, on some uppity shit or some bougie shit. Like nigga, like just because you read some books, nigga don't mean shit. And that's the mentality, right? Niggas be like, just because you read some shit don't mean, you feel me? Like don't mean you can come at me like that you can come at me like that. Yeah. And so that's what he's saying. He's saying if you're trying to get this message off, it's a way that we could do it to where we can do it from a place of love. You feel me? And that's what he was expressing in the song. But at the end of the song, that's why it's called Snow in the Bluff, because what he states specifically is that how he feels, you know what I'm saying, even when he's giving props, he's still like, based on her criticism, he's conceding that I'm still not doing enough. I feel it in the inside. Even when niggas is looking at what I'm doing and saying that what I'm doing is dope and they appreciate what I'm doing, I don't feel like I'm doing enough still. And I feel it when my sisters speak to me, you know what I'm saying, about her issue. That's me as a fan. Okay. As a black man.
Man, boy. Hey, let me go and tell you something, Damo.
Go ahead.
You as a fan, the analysis was long-winded, my nigga. So you as a black man, this analysis better be equally long-winded, my guy.
Nah. Okay. To be fair, I'll preface it with this. Fuck tone police and black women. Now is not the time. Now is not the time for sensibilities. Now is not the time to, you know what I'm saying, for emotions. Now is not the time for us to be like, well, you know, you can come at me a little better. Now ain't the time for that. As much as I feel cold in terms of like, you know, how we talk to each other and all this other shit, niggas got like, especially sisters, have a right to be pissed. They have a right to talk to niggas crazy. Agreed. They have a right to come at niggas sideways. Agreed. And because of what's going on right now, and how, you know, like we talked about on the last episode, how black women and our approach to black women and our approach to when black women are murdered as opposed to when black men are murdered, we not doing it the way we supposed to be doing it. Sisters aren't getting the attention at the sisters aren't as galvanizing. You feel me? They don't it don't spark the same emotion in communities as it does in as it does for black men. So from that perspective, fuck tone policing, fuck the emotions. Niggas need to get their shit together. You included, Coles. And if you know that, and if you know you need to get your shit together, fuck a verse, write a song about getting your shit together. If you know that. Write a song about picking up.
Sharif said it earlier in this track. He should have. We got
Jaleesa in the building.
Let Noname down. That's what's good, Jaleesa. That's what I think that he should have made. He should have made a track saying "Let Noname down." Instead of letting Nas down,
let
he
Nas
should have
down.
been letting Noname down. He could have came a
That's
lot better,
facts.
man.
That's facts. But yeah, so Jalise, go ahead, chime in based on what you heard. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, as
go
a
on, jump
fan,
in,
I
Jalisa.
understand.
I know you got something for us. Hey, and too. I know listen, I know this is a podcast and we on live, but I know you will give it to a nigga. So listen, if one of us that said something that was crazy, Jalisa,
I don't even think you gotta tell her that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I
get
don't
us
even think you
together
gotta
real
tell her
quick
that.
though. You feel
Hey,
me?
I like that gear you got on too. I like that gear that you got on
too. I mean, the whole situation is just real disappointing. Like, I wake up every day tired as hell, y'all. I have a job. I got a second job. I got a side hustle. I work with nonprofits. I help support young people. Like, I try and be active for Black people in the Bay. You know, I'm a new transplant and I'm exhausted. And every time I get on Twitter or Facebook, I'm looking at another Black woman that's been killed or harassed or beaten, hit in the face with a skateboard, or murdered after a protest, or, you know, killed in her home when she asleep. And it feel like ain't no justice. So that's the context where I heard this song that I'm just like, damn, man, you could have wrote a song about anything right now. You didn't write a song about Say Her Name. You didn't write a song about none of the Black women who we are currently having conversations about who need justice. Every 5 minutes, you should be saying, arrest them niggas who killed Breonna. And I don't hear it. And so you want to tell Black women to change your tone? Like it's like one of the most condescending things as an educated Black woman who understands you have to change your message for people to hear it. You can't talk to everybody the same. The same information you want people to get, you have to adapt the way you communicate it. Duh. But that does not the same thing as the information itself being accessible and my attitude. I can change how I convey information and have an attitude all day long because the world give me an attitude. I don't know if you have checked, but Black women are the most disrespected in this country and Black men are part of that problem. So it's real hard to sometimes check that energy. And then I hear this song and I'm like, yo, bro, like, what is you doing? Like, it does sound very consciousness to me, Damo, because it's like you had some thoughts. Clearly you was working through it. And my thought when I heard the song was like, damn, you ain't worked through that enough. You wasn't even ready to put the song out, my homie, because you ain't had a part 2 ready. That's like, all right, now here's my love letter to Noname. That's like, okay. So I went through the first part of this and I figured out that this is mad crazy. This is mad wild what I'm thinking. Cause like, I can't imagine how tired you are to care, to nurture, to teach uncompensated in a world that doesn't give a damn about you and don't give a damn about me. Like, whoa. And I need you to be nicer. I need you to talk to me nice, baby. Like, what? That's the wrong thing to say to Black women right now. Black women in the streets fighting for your lives. Fighting for your lives. And you want us to calm down, to be a little quieter, to change the message without thinking that they're already doing that. Sometimes I think people forget, like when you are exhausted and when you are at like your last straw, sometimes you cannot control how your energy comes out. Your passion for your people, sometimes mine comes it comes out as intensity. Sometimes people call me a mover and a shake, and I shake the table hard, but not because I'm mad or I'm trying to be mean, but I'm like, I need you to get there with me. Reading is fundamental. Yeah, I'm mad because you ain't read. Nigga, what? You wrote all these books? She lead a book club? Nigga, do you know how many books I put in people's hands? But I'm also willing to sit there and talk through that with you and be like, okay, so if you ain't get it, that's okay. That's not on you and that's not on me. We gonna work through it. We gonna get through it. You have to have patience both ways. And it felt like J. Cole was just like, yo, why everybody keep talking to Black men like kind of reckless? Like we trying, like we in this together. And I'm like, no, you missing it, boo. Ain't nobody talking to you reckless. Some of the energy's coming out. And I think Black women have to be accountable for that. I'm not always, you know, positive, happy-go-lucky, treat Black men with all the love that I have in my heart. And that's something I'm conscious of. Like, but some of that is hurt. Some of that is desire to protect myself. And some of that is just like, listen, everything I can't say be all roses, hold your hand, honey, boo-boo. Sometimes I'm like, okay, you need to read that. You need to be here. You need to show up. You need to do this. I have not seen you put your money where your mouth is or your feet where they need to be. Watch how people move their feet, not how they move their mouth. So I appreciated the song. I'm not mad at him. I'm not canceling him, but I'm just like, this is not what Black women needed. I appreciate that there was a lot of nuance in that. I mean, I think it applies to Black women in general who are taking up some of the things that Noname is doing and taking up organizing and taking up energy for their communities and are facing those kinds of criticisms. So I'm like, J. Cole ain't talking to me, but other people talking to me like J. Cole. And I'm like, damn, could you not make a song that's like, hey, quit talking to Black women like that?
Yeah.
Work it out. Is that going to be the part 2? I'm waiting for the part 2 to drop because I feel the stream of consciousness. I feel he got some stuff in his head to work out.
Okay, so let's keep this going. So let's keep this going with Marquise's comment. Marquise says that J. Cole was speaking real rap. It doesn't apply well to Noname, but it's some that fit the model. It's a lot of nuance in that spit at an intramural. He said it's a lot of nuance in that spit at an intramural level. Everybody, not for everybody.
I mean, listen, I get what Keith is saying. You know what I mean? Because that's really from the perspective.
I need to understand. Break it down to me.
So so what he's saying is that even though he used Noname as the jumping off point, like her criticism as a jumping off point, he's criticizing a particular approach. Like he's been consistent in how he talks about how we should be with each other. You feel me? Like we should be patient with each other. We should be understanding. That's why in the beginning of the verse, he's talking about I'm not like all of the criticism that niggas that love to hate J. Cole. He's saying y'all are right. This whole I'm the super conscious woke nigga rapper persona that's been bestowed upon me for whatever, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason, it ain't it. You feel me? It's a lot of motherfuckers out of here way smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? So from that perspective, he's saying like I'm not trying to be that. At the end of the day, I just want us to be able to talk to each other with patience and love. This is where I would push back on that though. As much as I understand that. Now is not the time to be talking about patience and love. Like we dying. You know what I'm saying? Like you got state-sanctioned anti-black violence and how police treat niggas and on the entire spectrum. You feel me? And when we look at how black communities are responding, black women aren't getting the same, you know what I'm saying? They're not getting the same juice. And if it was more equitable, if shit was making more sense, then I could see that. But it's kind of like, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, right? But it's kind of like the black on black violence argument. It's like, yes, niggas killing niggas is a problem. But just because niggas killing niggas is a problem, don't mean that, you know what I'm saying, when we talking about what the police are doing to niggas, that this shit is relevant. So it's like, yeah, we should probably talk better to each other and like talk in a way to where we could get shit across to other niggas. But now ain't the time for that, bro. Like it's a matter of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I think that I didn't feel very much patience and love from the song. Like I got he was working through some stuff that was heavy on his mind, but like I feel like talking to black women in the sense that you're like, okay, so I'm really not that nigga. I know I'm just like a regular nigga, but you know, I love my people and I'm trying to, you know, like move in the right way, but like I'm, you know, I'm learning. Please be patient with me. And how can I prepare myself for that patience? How can I receive that teaching and learning and let you know, like, please be more nurturing with me because that's not really where we're at. I feel like that's a little bit different than the song that we got. And like just some of the explicitness, like, I mean, I'm gonna just be a whole lot me. Like, don't like that feeling that a lot of black women have about, please, when you're trying to tell me about myself, just like when you're trying to tell black men about themselves, it is a very nuanced conversation about how we relate to one another. So it's like the timing of that has to matter. I think about like in my life, the conflicts that I've had with black men. Like I said, I'm not perfect. And sometimes like, you know, like I have to apologize. I have to make amends. I say wild things. Like I'm a human and I'm me. So y'all know me. It is what it is. But I feel like the timing of that has to matter. And there has to be some like genuineness and some context. Like, I feel like I'm waiting for the backstory that's like J. Cole reached out to Noname, was like, he gonna have this track. He want her on the remix. This is his stream of consciousness. This is how he thought. So it dropped. Then she got some commentary on it. Okay, cool. I feel like the framing of it and just the general vibe that it came out with was just like, it was wrong. It was off. Like, this is not like when I said, I'm like, okay, say her name. Can we get a song about that? Can we get Breonna Taylor GoFundMe from 3 million to like 15 where George Floyd at? Can we get some people arrested? Can we do something? And I feel like that's the energy that I kind of wanted when you're asking me to be patient when I'm so frustrated. It's not like I'm necessarily frustrated with you. I'm actually least frustrated sometimes with Black men because I'm like, damn, I know like it's sometimes not your fault. Sometimes I get it. It's we in the thing together. But at the same time, it's like that energy, I feel like it's sometimes hard to control. So it's like, that's not what I was trying to vibe for. That's not the song I wanted. And what's in your head, I need to hear the part 2. I'm not canceling nobody. I'm just like,
I think that I feel like I agree with everything you're saying. That's what I'm curious of though, Jaleesa, in terms of the song. I think that J. Cole is also forwarding a type of socioeconomic criticism when he talks about where he assumes she comes from and what that means for her orientation towards being able to know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like the lyrics he say is like, you probably come from 2 parents that's conscious and that taught you this, that, and the other. And how I understood that was like, okay, I think that I don't know where Noname come from. I say that. I don't know who her parents is. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, her socioeconomic background. I don't know what her tax. I don't know what tax bracket she come from, what she was grew up in. You feel me? But I do think there is some legitimate criticism in terms of when I think lower class Black people are talking to more middle class Black people and more affluent Black people, and specifically about the conversation of resistance and kind of how sometimes people are speaking from different registers, you know what I'm saying, in terms of literal like tone. Because I'm also thinking about it in shit. If you tell 19-year-old George, nigga, read a book, it's gonna be like, who the fuck are you talking to about?
I knew 19-year-old George. I knew 19-year-old George.
So exactly. So you just being real. If you were just told 19-year-old George to read a book, I'd be like, nigga, what?
Listen, it's saying reading is fundamental, and niggas who don't read books is dumb. I recognize what energy is toxic, and also what energy we need. How I deliver it is the question. I feel like that threw me off in the song. Obviously, there are class politics at play. Nigga, I'm in my PhD program. That don't mean I'm smarter than nobody necessarily. Because you have a PhD don't mean you know more. Don't mean you have more authority. My PhD hopefully will be a certification of skill. But that don't mean like I don't need to humble myself amongst other people. And you shouldn't act like you're trying to communicate a message. That to me is implicit. And so that part of the criticism, I'm like, yeah, you talking about how some people is kind of snobbish, kind of trying to convey information to you in a way that you're not getting it, and then blaming you when you're not getting it instead of working through you. That makes sense to me, but that's not the entirety of the song. On the other,
I think couching it into the she Black woman is what I think made it, you know,
it was a little bit of a hot mess. The other thing I want to point out, George, is not every Black woman is here to teach you. That labor has to be given. And a lot of times it has to be earned, because Black women are not just out here teaching for free and helping folks. It's dangerous. Literally, that girl was killed in like 48 hours.
Okay? We get into that next. We're going to keep, I thought you might keep you on. We get into that next.
You have to be selective about where you give your energy sometimes. And it's just like, yo, I'm not always trying to teach. I'm really not. So sometimes when you hear me, I'm not trying to necessarily walk you through something and teach you. I'm trying to let you hear me and let you feel me. And so we have to think, I think, a little bit more flexibly about how the messages are and how we're communicating. Like, everything is not necessarily so you can be in the know, so you can, elevate your mind. Sometimes it's just like we are relating to one another at an interpersonal level, or we are relating to one another in a like collective level that I'm not teaching you, but someone else may be in this space, or I may be pushing you towards someone else who can teach you because I don't have the energy or the time or the capacity or the vibes or the whatever. But that don't mean I don't love you, Black man. But it kind of felt like less love from J. Cole. But that's kind of
and so y'all know Cole, my nigga, man. Like that, you feel me? Like, like that's my guy. And so I can see I see the explanation, but I can't allow that to. I mean, I gotta vibe with you 100%, Jaleesa. And what pisses me off about this is that I want to get to the comments. The people who already hate on J. Cole I gotta agree. Like, I mean, now to an extent, right? Because I feel like people are making it about his ego. People are making it about, you know what I'm saying? Like, even I feel like Chance the Rapper's like tweet was corny. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like niggas is posturing, and it's like,
what did Chance the Rapper say?
Chance, he said it was like he tweeted that the song was a L, and it's another excuse to ignore patriarchy and other, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. And I'm like, how can you say that in terms of him making excuses to, you know what I'm saying, to remove the responsibility associated with, you know what I'm saying, like these type of dynamics and how patriarchy work, when he's saying at the end, I'm fucking up. I'm not, and which is not an excuse. We right now we don't need a "I'm fucking up" song from J. Cole, nigga. We need that. All we want to do is take the chains off. We need that inspirational shit. You feel me? Like the shit that he dropped after Mike Brown and shit. Nigga had a nigga in tears. You go. No, it's fine. The shit that he dropped, I was like, I listened to. That's what we needed. We needed the catharsis. We didn't need your catharsis. You feel me? It's like you working like as a leader, bro. As a leader, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes like that emotional shit, you gotta kind of eat that. Yeah, I mean, I know like they used to like taking them emotions and turning it in the songs, and usually with somebody like Drake, J. Cole, or Kendrick, when they take their emotions and turn it into songs, it's like damn, thought provoking. It's intricate. You know what I'm saying? It has levels, it has layers. But at a time like this, you know what I'm saying? Like we needed something specifically. Like the consumers needed something specifically. And what the nigga gave just was not what it was. So now you got that the niggas that already hate him jumping out the window talking about,
hey man,
you know,
this the last thing I say on this, man. I feel like I'll let y'all say y'all last part so we can get to the next segment.
We're gonna get to the comments after you say this.
Yeah, but we'll get to the comments first. I see that Jada and Marquise did say something, you feel me? But listen, man, when white supremacy going down, you feel me? And we telling these white folks something. If white folks tell niggas talk to me nice, just think about that shit. Black people, especially black men, listen, man, listen. If we tell white folks stop killing us and this, that, and the other, and we trying to tell these white folks something about our livelihood, and these white folks say, yeah, but talk to me nice. I don't like your tone. What's going to be our response?
Yeah. Let me get to these comments, and then I'm gonna get your thoughts, your last thoughts on this, Jaleesa. Because I know we gonna be dealing with this for the next month. Because it still got to play out. Like you said, it got to be a part 2. Like if the nigga leave it as it is, but let's get to the comments. Terrell Taylor said, I appreciate the way that Cole demonstrates a personal vulnerability in the track. The fact that he speaks to his own insecurity and anxiety, that he's not showing up as he should. It is regrettable that he has not provided the space for Black women to have the same vulnerability. The song is him working through some things, but he is simultaneously putting demands on Black women to teach with love, which comes across as an accusation, hence why folks feel some type of way. And I mean, the only problem...
That was well put.
Yeah.
Well put. Straightforward.
It's just like, hey, Cole, we love you, bro, but we ain't got time for that. Like right now, we ain't have time for that nuance, bro. That could have came out on the mixtape. And then we would have been like, oh, hey, yeah, Noname was tweeting them niggas. And then we would have been able to have a more balanced conversation then. But now
not in the middle of the battle, we start talking about
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if you beefing with your partner on the court, y'all wait till y'all get to the locker room, you know what I'm saying, to hash that shit out. Chelsea Lou said when Serena Williams was tone checked on court, made responsible for spectators' comfort and control her energy while competing for a title. What's everyday like for underrepresented women or unrepresented Black women? Which is what we seeing, which is why niggas got a problem with what Cole said in the first place. Jada says she in these streets, out protesting in Vegas, but checking in to say what's up. We know she got love for the show. Then Marquise got another long one. He said, I saw. He said, I saw
Dr. G.
I saw discourse circulating about Black men not protesting the death of Breonna Taylor. which wasn't the case on the ground at all, but there was this desire to paint black men as deviant or disingenuous. How can we be free? I'm Team Cole. Shit, he checked me in the song, to be honest. It goes beyond static gender performance to me based on what Terrell said above about his vulnerability at the moment. Hortense Spillers teaches. So Marquise is Team Cole.
Hold on, but this is what I say though. This is what I say though, because I think me and Marquise will probably disagree on this a little bit. I think that I have been talking to people in Louisville, and there has been a lot of black men that's been on the grounds in Louisville, right? What we see though in terms of George Floyd is that it woke up a national outcry from the community. You feel me? Niggas was tearing up shit everywhere, and it was mainly in the name of George Floyd. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. Y'all know I be on social media a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I know in the past 2 weeks when I started talking about Breonna Taylor, people didn't know who I was talking about, fam. So I think that there is a legitimate criticism. We can even make a distinction. We can make the distinction and nuance about how black men was responding on the ground in Louisville, Kentucky, but we still can be real about the lack. You feel me?
The movement, the national narrative.
Yeah, the national narrative was dominated by George Floyd. As a matter of fact, I think that this J. Cole track right here is a perfect point. Right now, we should have goddamn shifted our minds from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and went straight to goddamn Louisville, Kentucky, because she was killed first, right? To me, it's like, fam, these white folks ain't been locked up yet for killing this woman.
Yeah.
You feel me? And two, I think when we get into this next conversation, I think it's gonna be like, hey, fam.
That's why save some of that.
That's why I think it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a legitimate criticism. You feel me? I think it's a legitimate criticism.
I mean, yeah, and that's
niggas
why
niggas in Houston ain't rallying for Breonna Taylor. Niggas in Oklahoma City ain't rallying for Breonna Taylor. Niggas in Atlanta ain't rallying. You feel me? I can keep on naming cities. Shit, they can jump to Rachel Harder, goddamn.
Yeah, go ahead, Jaleesa.
I mean, I just look. I hope that J. Cole has just as much energy in this song for unpacking his stream of consciousness as he does to follow up with this conversation he has started. And maybe comes through to collect some of the folks that are on Twitter who have taken his introspection as an excuse to shit on black women. Like, part of it is like that great power comes great responsibility, Spider-Man. So you release
okay, Uncle Ben over here.
I'm looking for him to step up. I saw him tweet at Noname and was like, people follow him. I'm like, well, I was already following her. Correct. Yes, I appreciate that. But I need you to be a little bit more authentic and engaging this conversation. And I need you to actively gather some of the black men who are on the interweb saying things like, yeah, black women are angry. That's why we can't listen to them. Like, yeah, and you need to calm down. And like, yeah, there's a lot of that discourse happening. And I'm not saying he started it. He's uniquely responsible for it.
But they using it.
Participating in it. Even through introspection. I'm not saying you garbage ipso facto throw the nigga out. I feel like you need to speak up. That's got to be part of your introspection. And I'm saying that as like a black woman who actually likes some of J. Cole's catalog. I'm saying that as somebody who's like, yeah, sometimes when you working it out, it's messy. Okay, I'm looking to see you still wait.
It was messy.
Disappear on me. So we shall see how I feel about this in like a month. But right now I'm just like, okay, well, you're right, J. Cole. Keep thinking through it. I'm exhausted. All I can do is do what I do every day. You're right. I'm gonna try and make sure I be nice to black men. Yes.
Hey, and that leads us into Tiffany's comment. That's Tiffany, by the way, is the big sister to the show. She said, "So who do we turn to?
Who do
as in black women? If y'all always trying and needing to be taught and talked to nice."
Talk to me nice, Tiffany.
Tiffany,
I didn't like the tone of that comment. Actually, I think you should retype it and talk to me nice.
Hey, Tiffany, you came off a little big condescending on that one. Big.
Hey, mine was complete. hey, Tiffany, I want to be sure that was complete sarcasm on my behalf. I don't know. I can't speak for Damo. That way, Damo. That was sarcasm.
I said nothing.
No.
Everybody not for everybody.
Yeah, it was sarcasm. But that's a good question.
He really right on that. Everybody ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't for everybody, man.
It's like the excuse can't always be, well, hey, sometimes like learning is uncomfortable. Sometimes you're gonna feel a certain type of way, and getting over feeling a certain type of way is how you learn. Sometimes. This nigga Chris X in the building. Shout out to Chris X. Jaleesa, do you want to introduce yourself to the channel? Introduce yourself to the people.
Cause hey, my
because
partner
he
trying
been
to figure out what's
showing
going
love
on
this
with you,
entire
man.
episode.
Well,
Chris be on here talking
definitely.
shit. He been
Jaleesa,
showing
all I want
love
to
this
say is
entire
you
episode.
in this mug. His whole tone is different, man. I'm just being real. I'm not being extra. I'm being 100%, 1,000. I'm gonna shut up though and let you introduce yourself.
I love you, George. Hi, Chris, and hi, other people. My name is Jaleesa. She, her, hers. I also go by Jay. That's why my name is Jay on the chat. And I'm a person that knows these two humans and Toya Green, the other person who usually hosts this podcast from Policy Debate. I was lucky enough to meet all three of these people when I was like young teenager. And they've been really formative, powerful Black folks moving in my life. And so when they said they were having this conversation, I hopped on, talk a little shit, talk with y'all.
Yeah, she's smart as fuck.
Yeah. Dr. J coming soon.
Hey, coming soon.
2020. You better.
2020.
Devin,
this
Devin
year.
is in the building. He said the response, I guess this is when he was like, hey, when a nigga tell you go read a book, the response is fuck you. You feel me? So hey, but you know what? And then when you think about it, Cole, for example, like it's like when you arguing, like I know we're arguing with my wife, telling her to calm down, or like she don't need to talk to me like that.
I want to see you again. Don't do it.
Yeah, man.
Right. Like, hey, you need to address how you talking to me. That never works, bro.
Oh, definitely. Hey, one time I tried to tell, hey, watch how you come at me. It didn't go the way that it usually go when you tell somebody that. You feel me? And it was just like, yeah.
But then you found once you had that conversation and you changed how you was talking to her, that she was more receptive. And I totally get that, right? I get that at an interpersonal level, and I get that as a Black woman, a Black man level. But like, you gotta also like recognize like it's a lot of feelings on the table either way. Like,
right.
You gotta be a little bit more.
Sun He.
She said, and I seen her. She was, matter of fact, she the reason why actually I thought J. Cole was spitting at first. I was like, okay, because I just kind of loosely listened to it. Okay, Cole back. Yeah. I was just happy to have a new Cole song. I was just happy to have a new Cole song. Then I hop on Facebook and I see Sun He's post, and I'm like,
oh
let me go back.
Let me re-listen to that track, man.
Like I was like, damn, I missed something big, clearly. You feel me? But she said, honestly, though, I think being emotional is fine. And I see men try to do the emotional work. But what's also important is that you need to recognize impact. You can feel insecure, but also recognize how that projects and hurts people. I don't think the problem is that J. Cole feels insecure. The problem was the timing and the way he tried to check someone doing the work already, despite professing she is tired. She is tired too. It was just a missed opportunity, in my opinion. It would have been a good model. I agree with that 100%. I think that's what the feeling is. It's just that what Sun He is saying is also getting lost with the J. Cole haters who look for reasons to. But we on the same side today, J. Cole haters. We on the same side. Like, we in agreement. That nigga fucked up. He did. I mean, it was a missed opportunity. I think that's the biggest thing that I've heard. Because I keep taking it back to after Mike Brown. He came out with the Be Free joint. Like, I remember walking to the barbershop, texting my niggas like, hey man, hey, y'all niggas stay up, bro. Like, we you feel me? Like, and how the nigga in his feelings. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Let's get to the rest of these comments. George talking shit. Brooke in the building. Marquise going back and forth with George. Yeah. And so, I mean, to go ahead, let's Jaleesa, go ahead and give your final thoughts on it. And then we can go ahead and head to that to the next shot.
I love Black.
I mean, we keeping you on board, clearly. No,
yeah, we're keeping you on board. Don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah, we're not kicking you out.
I love Black men. I mean, like, I'm not like cancel him. I don't think we should cancel J. Cole, but I am like upset or like hurt, disappointed. I don't know the word, but I'm just like, this wasn't it. I was looking for you to drop a banger for me to work out, for me to, you know, have just like in my head as I'm trying to organize all my other thoughts, as I'm trying to organize with people. And I appreciate that now I'm thinking more thoughtfully about like how I speak to Black men. I feel like it's something always on my mind, but like, yeah. But I also despise that I'm thinking about that in the context of trying to fix my tone, because I'm like, damn, how many Black men in my life do I regularly talk to who just don't say something like this or feel some kind of way or are harboring some kind of like insecurity, might not be the word, but like some kind of feeling about how Black women are talking to you. And I feel like we have to talk about these things. So that's why I popped on. But also like I wouldn't tell Black women like about themselves in the way that he did for you not Black women, but you know, up to you.
Man, that's what's up. So y'all know what it is. Let's be on the lookout for that part 2. Is this it ain't over. And I mean, especially given the emotional all shit that went into him making that song, knowing J. Cole after he put out, you know what I'm saying, the song about motherfucking Lil Pump. Next thing you know, they sitting down doing an interview. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be interesting to see how that play out.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see that soon.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Shout out to Bethany in the building. Chris X wants to let you know we also love you as Black men. We love you too, Queen. But keeping it pushing. George, let's go ahead and get into this conscious chop, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey, keeping it pushing, keeping it moving. Right now, we getting into the conscious chop. You know, we gonna subtitle this one as "Say Her Name." Here, I guess about 2 weeks ago, the great Oluwatoyin, 19-year-old Black Lives Matter protester, was found dead with a 75-year-old a woman, literally minutes after a protest that she was at. Just to give a little backdrop, on May 30th, Toyin joined a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest outside of the Tallahassee police headquarters to demand justice for Black lives lost. The 19-year-old was photographed using a megaphone to recite the names of those people killed by police, including Tony McDade of Tallahassee and George Floyd of Minneapolis. She said, "I don't want their names to go in vain," she told the crowd that had gathered around her. Exactly 1 week later, so I lied, not hours later, but a week later, Toyin went missing just hours after retweeting about a man who she said disguised himself as a man of God and sexually assaulted her. Her own name began circulating online as a hashtag justice for Toyin. So before we jump into it, I just want to y'all think about that. She was at a protest. She said she named names that was killed by the police and said she don't want these names to go in vain, these hashtag names. And a week later, she was made into a hashtag.
Yeah.
And too, just so y'all know, I wasn't just trying to posture on my brother Marquise at all, or wasn't just trying to be on some fake mumbo jumbo shit. When I talk about the hashtag say her name and shit like that, this woman was putting her blood, sweat, and tears on the line for Black men. You feel me? A lot of them names she was saying at that Tallahassee protest was Black men. You feel me? I don't hear a lot of Black men talking about Toyin. A Black man raped her and killed her.
Go ahead, chime in, Jaleesa.
It's hard to have words, I'm not gonna lie. It makes me incredibly scared as somebody who just like, you know, every time I get pulled over by a cop and I study policing, I think to myself, like, damn, I really hope like this isn't the time or something happens to me. Like, my mama gonna know the truth, but like, you know, I hope this is not it. I get every time I get like a pit in my stomach, like dead fear. And I can't imagine going to a place where you know you're going to be in contact with people who try to kill you, people who you actively avoid. Like I said, I study policing. I don't want to talk to the police, y'all. That's not part of policing I study. And then you go to a protest and you engage publicly and you make yourself loud and audible for other people, not just yourself. And then you end up dead. It feels very much like, damn, like, I hope that doesn't happen to me. I hope that doesn't happen to any other Black woman. I hope, like, like I said, it's hard to have words because it's a kind of like head effect that's just like, we just seen her. Like, we just seen sis. Like, she was just here and then she was killed. And then the surrounding of, you know, like how she was killed and what led up to her death is just like the conversation about sexual assault, sexual harassment, Black women, those kinds of things that can happen in activist, advocacy, protest space. Like, Black women are being groped at protests. That happens. Women are being groped at protests. That happens. Women are being harassed. That happens. It happens by everybody. Also, you know, Black men participate in it, other men, women. Like, the protests are not places that are neutral where there's, you know,
there ain't no safe havens.
So it's just a very scary place to be. I live by myself. And I moved to a new place. I don't have a ton of friends. And so in terms of being outside and being active in the Bay Area, it's a lot different than in Kansas. I've been back and forth. And it's my comfort,
hey,
like my comfort of being outside.
It's a culture shock.
I mean, in a lot of ways, but like being outside by myself, you niggas, like, Damo, you hours away from me. If like something happened to me, can't nobody get to me. My mama can't.
Hours,
Like, I'm out. So I'm scared of both, like, what can happen to me in these conversations with law enforcement and really stop me. But I'm also scared about, like, the people around me I have to be conscious of. And it hurts my heart to know that, like, in that case for her, it was another Black man. So it's just like.
And I think it's kind of it when you juxtapose this conversation with the conversation we was literally just having. This is why we don't really have time for like people, specifically Black men's sensibilities, because for whatever reason, there are times that I'm seeing right now, Black men are adopting this like white male victimhood. You feel me? Like it's like, yeah, the world is against this, including the Black woman, and they trying to, you feel me, tear this down and tear that down. And that's kind of like people are using J. Cole to kind of push that narrative based on what he was saying. But a lot of the frustration that we are pretty much ignoring as it pertains to Black women is specifically what's being said right here. The fact that the perfect term to use was to explain the issue at at the protests, for example, is that these aren't neutral spaces. Like, the conversation of death and police brutality isn't one that's universal. You feel me? It's certain intraracial issues that play out, because while this woman was out here protesting what the white structure is doing to Black people as a whole, the biggest threat to her was a Black man that she trusted. You know what I mean? Black men, we don't got to worry about that. That's what niggas don't comprehend. You don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's not true. I mean, you don't have to worry about it to the extent and to the ways that Black women worry about it. And in those spaces, it's obviously different. But like, I don't want to at all sort of endanger the narrative that like Black men don't have to think about their safety or are not sort of like put in positions of sexual harassment. And that's by everybody.
But hold on. But to be clear though, specifically what I'm talking about is because, like, yeah, it happens. But the way in which, when I'm saying you don't have to worry about it, is the fear that you talking about, Jaleesa. The fear that you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like me, like when I moved out here, like when I moved out to Cali, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had one other individual, but it was just me. I was hitting them streets and I was getting into very weird, like Long Beach altercations. Like, it was weird shit that was happening that had never happened to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about niggas was trying to steal my bike. Like, no bullshit. A nigga just walked up. Like, I'm up at Jack in the Box. A nigga just walk up looking at my bike. I go outside. He like, hey, this is my bike. like I'm like, nigga, no, it's not. Nigga, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now, Jaleesa, if that was you and you in this new city by yourself, and some nigga, because come to find out, this nigga just got out of prison. he dealing with some mental shit. And he walk up on you because it's a nice bike, and he say to you, Jaleesa, this my bike.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Just walking up on Jaleesa.
Shit ain't gonna go right.
But that doesn't
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's not. It's not, because if you put me in fear, I'm gonna respond. Like, my fight or flight is real strong. Don't walk up on me. But that doesn't.
So I want the viewers to recognize this though. Jaleesa, how tall are you, Jaleesa?
I'm 5'11".
Hey, get on your motherfucking ass, man. Shit.
Yo, but it's just like you said though. It's just like you said. You will fight.
Yeah, but that doesn't, just because I would fight or protect myself with capacity I have, does not change how terrified that situations. I'm and my first thought was like, I mean, how expensive is the bike? Like, damn, can we replace it?
Oh, like, no, this is Long Beach. It was a fixie. It was a chrome. It was a chrome fixie. You feel me? This was not cheap.
When Marquis said Damo, somebody tried to take your bike.
He did, bro. He tried to take my shit. You feel me?
But your bike, punk. It's my bike.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like when I think about, like, for example, it's certain shit. Yeah, I mean, like when I where we live, it's like our parking is terrible. You feel me? So when I would get home from work, I would have to park blocks away, especially in the wintertime, because you would have to walk 2 or 3 blocks to get home. You feel me? So even if I got home before my wife, I'm still parking 2 or 3 blocks away, because at nighttime, I don't want her, you know what I'm saying, walking that distance to have to come home. You feel me? Like in the middle of the night, you know what I mean? And that's the type of shit and that's what I mean by, like, as men, we definitely have nuanced, you know what I'm saying, shit that happen. And we definitely scared of other black men, but for other reasons though. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about this narrative of death as it pertains to structurally and systematically, black men, we don't recognize how we play out certain aspects of those same structures, you know what I'm saying, in our relationship with our sisters. You feel me? That's what in terms of those dangers. You feel me? That's what I feel like Cole missing in terms of understanding the relevance of what he was saying and what the larger conversation ignores, because it's like we watching our sisters die at not just the hands of the police, at the hands of people that look like them. You feel me? And that's not being enough of that systematic conversation that we talk about.
Yeah, no, seriously, I just saw a video. Like, I didn't watch the video. I don't watch these videos. Y'all don't watch these damn videos. But I just saw the it's going viral of a black woman who supposedly turned down a man or his advances or something, and he hit her in the face with a skateboard, and you just got a bunch of niggas in the background laughing. Like, that's the narrative of what's happening in this video. And those are the kinds of things I'm just like, okay, so what is we doing here though? Why them niggas didn't beat his ass? Why they didn't intervene? Like, what? I mean, what is this is funny.
No, they ain't how it go. I already know how that goes.
Black men, but it's like,
Now, son, he's said that, can we also talk about how Talk to Me Nice often leads to very dangerous situations for black women? Men overestimate interest a lot in activist woke spaces. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas be full of themselves because they on some, you know what I'm saying? Because they think they on some woke shit. Someone deciding to share space or intimacy automatically translates to sexual, sensual. That shit is terrifying and demoralizing. That's what black men, like, that's a lot of, and when I say they don't have to worry about it, it's shit that they create. Let me say that. You know what I'm saying? Because what she's talking about is like, these is black men that we all got the, like, black men and black women with the same mission. But because, you know, I'm showing interest in your mind because we both move in the same direction, don't mean that I want you like that. I just like how you think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that's the nuance in the analysis that Jaleesa was saying, that you were saying, is that I think that being black, especially growing up in any type of hood setting at all, where you growing up around other black people, you got to worry about the internal abuse and the external abuse. You have to worry about the violence coming from the outside and the violence coming in from the inside. What we recognize is, as a black man, I got to worry about niggas trying to Nipsey hustle me, or niggas trying to, you know what I'm saying? I got to worry about somebody trying to take something from me me, that look like me, somebody trying to, you feel me, make some egotistical, macho, masculine, hyper masculine bullshit ass move to try to show me that they, you know what I'm saying, they are alpha male, they real nigga, or they gangster, this, that, and the other. And I also got to worry about this, you know what I'm saying, shit, this goddamn Ku Klux Klan or this moderate liberal, you feel me? But I also recognize too is that when I go to a woke space or a conscious space, I don't have to worry about my appeal making it where my appeal also becomes a potential for me to face violence. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the nuance in terms that Black women have to face. I can go into a woke space and a woman can think I'm as fine as she want me to be. You feel me? But I don't have to think about the violence that I can face because a woman find me attractive. I do understand that when a woman go into a woke space or a conscious space, you feel me? Her being seen as attractive in any way, shape, form, or fashion, it can go to Black Lives Matter, to what's your number, to oh, fuck you then, bitch. And if we being real, we know that type of thinking is usually how that shit is deployed. Black Lives Matter, what's going on, queen? I love you. What's your number? Oh, you ain't interested in me? Fuck you then, bitch. You ain't that fine anyway. And it's just like, I know whether we talking about Atlanta, New York, or Texas, or goddamn Oakland or Long Beach. We know that I feel like black men, we condition. You feel me? And I think that a lot of us be invested into the complete denigration of a woman when she don't show you no interest because she ain't reciprocating.
Niggas gonna be mad at me. Niggas gonna be mad at me, but I mean, if we keeping it a buck, the woke shit is a move. It's a vibe. You feel me? It's a finesse. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas, and that's why you have people overstretching. Like
Natoya's story, to me, it sounds like what happened to her. Reading her story, if you read the last tweet this black woman, this 19-year-old black woman sent of her life, she said this nigga literally duped her and thinking that he was a man of God. Gave her a ride to go get her belongings and from a church where she was seeking refuge from. Obviously, nigga made an advance that she wasn't interested, and he took what he wanted.
Hey, it's next. It requires next level thinking, bro. Because this type of introspect, like that's why when we talk about the introspect that J. Cole was showing, it's why Jaleesa said it was dangerous. You feel me? Because
and that's why Sonny said it dangerous too. Goddamn.
Yeah, because it's like this like how are we playing out these instances of anti-black violence in our own communities, and what are we doing about how it's playing out in our communities? You know what I mean?
We gotta be a little bit more intentional about the conversation about intimacy and like what does that mean? I think that
and them spaces specifically.
Yeah. Sonny, I think, kind of mentioned it, but like I kind of think like if I'm in an organizing space or I'm in a space with other Black people, I don't know, we're there to do or accomplish some goal, or we're there meeting our energy for a purpose. I'm not really like trying to have nobody slide in my DMs. That's not where my mind is. And that, look, I can have my full makeup on, look super cute, my shirt, like I'm looking spicy, I'm looking good because I look good. But like that's not why I'm here. That's not what I'm opening myself up to. That's not what I'm consenting or wanting. And I feel like I've been in several spaces where folks have hit on me and my response have been like, can you not? It has not been like, well, like this is why it's dangerous, because my response is to be like, nigga, get out of my face. Go get us. Like, what? Like, no, please, no. Like, no, I'm not interested right now. The time, the approach, but also like the over aggressiveness is kind of scary when you're in spaces where you're not familiar and other people perceivedly have power. So people talking to me like, hey, let me get your phone number because I'm about to add you to our mailing list. I'm like, okay, but I put my email down over there. So that's how you get me on the mailing list. Oh, well, we have like a special like group me that's just like, it's some Black people in the area. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, well, but the best way to get in contact me is with my email. But that's like kind of sometimes a scary exchange because I'm like, this nigga, I hope you don't put my phone number or come like find me, because I have certainly had like at some point, many women will say, after you have said no to advances, and sometimes people are persistent, they find you like on your Facebook or like on your social medias or somehow get your number. And you're like, how did you get my number? And you're like, oh, it was on your Facebook. What? But I didn't give it to you. So like,
right. So why do you feel comfortable calling me, bro?
Right. It's more terrifying in that space because it's like I'm trying to orient myself towards trusting you and the purpose that we're here. And like that if something happens while we're out here, if something happens like that, I can count on you. But clearly she couldn't count on that man. He obviously had nothing but terrible intentions. And so it's like
Nothing but terrible intentions, man.
I mean, and to be clear, he killed 2 black women.
Like here, now the other one was white. I mean, her
It was a
life
white-
Oh,
matters
the other
too,
lady was
you
white?
feel me? But the other one was white. The 75-year-old woman, yeah, she was white.
I mean, shit, he killed 2 women. Shit,
He
like he
killed
killed a
two
black
women.
woman.
To me, it's like, fam, you just because me in my mind too is like you killed a 75-year-old woman, bro. You out of there, fam. Like you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm almost where it's like, you feel me? And too, I feel like this gonna be a little problematic. I recognize, man. But it's like shit, man. When we start talking about doing away with the jail, man, I think jail is for motherfuckers like this here, man. I'm sorry, man, but listen, man. He killed He killed the black woman. He raped her and threw her in a body. Threw her body in the river, man.
Yeah, I mean,
After she trusted him.
And real quick, any of the sisters that's watching the show, put a 1 in the chat if y'all want to chime in. I'll get y'all the link. So y'all could, you know what I'm saying, say what y'all want to say about the issue. We definitely want to give the sisters an opportunity to speak on it, because for whatever reason, niggas ain't doing that enough. So, and it's Black Women Wednesday. So, which is something that I'm feeling like we should push a little bit more. We'll talk more about that, you know what I'm saying, later once we finish our first Freedom Week. But any of the sisters that want the link, put a 1 in the chat, and I will get you the link so you can speak on some things.
Yeah, you can hop on with us because we got room for like 3 more people, literally.
Yeah. So, but I want to speak to Craig 30. Shout out our YouTube chat. He said the more people that stand out and speak up starts a movement and acceptable behavior, and I that's a part of the issue that where I'm like, it really didn't dawn on me, to be for real about this intimate aspect of like these movements and these spaces until y'all talked about it right now.
Now, I definitely dawned on me a long time ago.
I am saying I'm learning, bro. I'm learning.
Yeah,
no bullshit.
It's an important conversation that I think that us as Black people we don't have enough.
Because look, and then I'll say this. I mean, and this ain't speaking to no quote unquote black male privilege and none of that. But I've had the privilege to where I ain't never really had to worry about none of that. You feel me? Like if that dynamic has existed, it only benefited me. You know what I'm saying? Like it was always in a no. I mean, I'm saying like I'm trying to be. I'm really trying to be. I'm trying to speak to it in a way to where it's like like the conversation is the conversation Jaleesa, that we have.
Man.
We're not. I'm for real though. Like I'm saying it from the aspect of like this is why like when Craig 30 said that, it made me think like why isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Why don't shit like this become the norm? Like question, like challenging niggas and pushing back on niggas coming to these spaces with those intent. You know what I mean? Why haven't I put more thought to that until like now? Because it really didn't speak to me until it became this conversation.
Yeah, why do you care about Black women, Damo?
I mean, no, I'm just saying I ain't
What you saying?
George, you came in. You be thinking about Black women. I be seeing yourself a lot, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's kind of it's like I have had the I guess like pleasure of having a lot of Black men around me make me be introspective and think about my relationship to Black men, to violence that they face, to thinking more expansively about the textures of our experiences all the time. And you know, I'm not perfect, but I hear that actually a lot from Black men that's like, you know what, I ain't even really think about that. Or like some of the people that we're talking about, like I didn't know who that was. I didn't know who Breonna was. And I'm like, how could you not know, but you know who Freddie Gray is? How could you not know? Like, and how could you not care in the same way that you asked me to cultivate energy and passion to be in the streets for your ass? I need you to be there for me. And I'm like, I'm not always seeing that energy. So it's like, okay, good to know that people are thinking about it, but like, how is it not on your mind? Like, damn.
Talking about. Listen, man. I'm down south. You feel me? I'm down south, right? Botham Jean was killed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He was killed in his house. Atiana Jefferson was also killed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She was killed in her house. Boys know Botham Jean's name, but they don't know Atiana Jefferson. You feel me? It happened in the same goddamn metro. You feel me? One was in Dallas, the other one was in Fort Worth. You know what I mean? And I think that this one of the examples right here, just like almost in my mind, is like black women's, they good for their labor. They reproductive labor, they emotional labor, they manual labor, they sexual labor. But when it comes to valuing them as laborers, I think that shit it just don't really happen. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? To me, I feel like it just don't happen.
Yana got a comment. She said, but also black women been talking about their instances of sexual assault, police brutality, and death, and people don't listen. Niggas was shaming black women for telling them to also focus on Breonna Taylor. Yo, and this is why I'm siding with it.
Talk to him nice. Talk to him nice, Ayana.
Talk to me nice. I don't like how you come at me, you know? Maybe if you want me to listen to you, you gotta talk to me like I'm a king and not like a peasant.
But look though, and that's why I mean, and that's why I can look past my fandom and be able to tell niggas like, nah, bro, like nigga, you sit up here talking about like, I keep your hands off the sisters.
Because to me, it creates a superiority complex. You feel me? To me, it creates a superiority complex. Because in my mind, the dude that did whatever, the dude that did what they did to Toyin, they had the expectation that she should talk to them nice. And I can tell from watching Toyin's videos, if she wasn't interested, she let the nigga know she wasn't interested. And in my mind, the resentment and aggression that got triggered from her letting him know, because think about it. She rallying. She really in the streets. She on the front line. She really tired. You know what I'm saying?
Exhausted.
Yeah.
Talk to me nice. Hey, being
real. And she was vulnerable though. And she was vulnerable. She was clearly staying at a church. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and it's like, you know, to be in that vulnerable position, to still put yourself, you know what I'm saying, on the front line, like niggas is saying, and then this to be the outcome. This is the shit that got niggas like fuck talking nice, nigga. What you doing about this?
And to me, this is the nuance in terms of talking about the interim, like the I guess the internal violence of the hood or the black community, right? It's like black men can be vulnerable to black women, and it's, you know what I'm saying, we don't have to worry about being violated in particular ways that black women have to always already be cognitive of and be conscious of. You know what I'm saying? We can be real, Damo. From Bryan, Texas to Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, what we talking about? Black women being vulnerable is goddamn being preyed upon. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I know it's dudes, it's industries that prey upon vulnerable black women. You know?
I'm plugging my shit up. Go ahead, keep it going, Jaleesa.
What y'all gonna do about it though?
But hey, that's the question, right? Because like, what I was going, like, my thing is, it's like we seeing niggas don't know. You feel me? Niggas don't like how they being talking to. You know what I mean? At the same time, you feel me? Niggas need to learn, but the way in which the lesson is taught is done in a way that creates that type of contention. It creates friction.
Hey, listen, I thought about the question. You said, what are we gonna do about it? I think that what I could do, like realistically, is be more vocal about when black women are facing violence, not only in retrospect, but also if I'm in the presence of it. But I think also kind of being as critical, if not kind of trying to be more critical with black men, particularly about how we be pushing out violence and brutality and abuse and oppression. You know what I'm saying? But also being able to, I feel like, keep that same energy with how I do with white supremacy and anti-blackness. It's like, if I'm going to talk shit to white folks about how they treat black people, I got to have that same energy, at least at the minimum in my mind, in terms of telling black men how we do black women, which also includes trans black women.
And we got another celebrity in it. We got another celebrity in the building. We got another celebrity. We actually have a legendary tag team in the building. You know what I'm saying? Q, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Yeah. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hi,
you know what I'm saying? Let them know who you are.
Robinson. I debated with Jaleesa my freshman year. and she asked me to tune in tonight to join this conversation that you all were having. So thanks for having me.
Hey, into to the viewers. Q being humble, she being, you know what I mean? This is the debater of the decade. Like the entire 2020, like 2010 to 2020, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the entire, like a 10-year span. Yeah, they did that.
You know what I'm saying? So we got some legends in the building. You feel me? But like the chop up has been blessed. You feel me? Toya will be proud. You know what I mean? Because I don't think, you know what I mean, nobody else, only y'all will be able to fill those shoes. Now I want to get into this comment before we get queued, because we gotta go back to the first chop. We gotta get your perspective on the cold shit. You know what I'm saying? But my man Bobby O, shout out to Bobby O, he said not putting the burden on the violated people or persons, but isn't a part of all this to try to know the vibes of a space before you walk into it. Meaning know the possibilities that there may be men who try to shoot their shot or push up on you, and that clearly at the present period, these boys are not taking accountability for themselves. So what am I, a woman, going to do to combat these possible threats before I encounter them? Maybe roll with a male friend or group of friends, etc.
Maybe conceal and carry. Maybe a lot of things.
Shit.
No. Hey, I'm laughing at your seriousness. That's serious.
You don't have
Yeah.
any rights to put your hands on me, and you don't have any rights to make me feel unsafe or, you know, be aggressive. And you know what I'm talking about when I say group it all. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. So for one is thinking about how do you proactively protect yourself. However that makes, like, however you approach that. Sometimes when I was on campus, I would carry pepper spray at night because I have to walk almost a mile back to the dorms where my apartment is. Sometimes when I went to protest, you know, allegedly, well, whatever. But I feel like you have to protect yourself in one capacity, and on the other capacity, you have to be pushing the Black men around you and the men around you to check them, to create some accountability in the space. Like, I'm like, if I'm going to a place where I know I can be potentially open to violence, not just because of the space externally, but because, as George said, internally, I'm also looking for Black men to be in that space to be like, whoa, bro, you need to chill out. Hey, we got to get this nigga out of here. I need y'all to be a little bit more proactive. They say protect the Black woman. I'm saying I protect myself. Jaleesa protects herself, but also protect the Black woman. Like, where is the more community mobilization in that sense in those spaces? Whose job is it, or jobs, to hold people accountable when this kind of stuff happens? If you know that it's people harassing women in the group, every time y'all go out, it's the same niggas trying to touch everybody booty when we out in the street and thinking nobody paying attention, or some wild stuff, like, what is you doing to check that nigga?
Yeah, check that nigga. That's facts. Go ahead and join in the conversation, Q. We want to get you started first with
we can let you chime in. What's your thoughts of what's going on right now?
I want to hear the J. Cole shit. I want to hear the J. Cole shit.
Just J. Cole fan ass nigga here, man.
Okay, so update me.
Have you heard the song?
No.
Okay, so J. Cole put out a song where he was responding to a lot of criticism that was levied his direction by Noname, in terms of what rappers are doing right. So in this song, he's self-reflexive on being like that, considered like the deep rapper, even though he doesn't feel like that that title is appropriate. But he expresses Noname's tone hitting him the wrong way. So from the perspective of during this time period, a rapper with J. Cole's type influence and him putting out a song which seems to focus on criticizing a Black woman and her approach to criticizing Black men, what is your initial response?
Yeah, I honestly think that that's a common tactic that Black men do, which is like when women levy claims or arguments against you, they always have a lineup that says that you went about it in the wrong way and that you should have done it in XYZ way. And I think that men are always critical of women, and I think that that ultimately is what creates a mentality where women don't feel comfortable expressing themselves in full and in argument. And I think that I can't imagine what the argument is in defense, to be honest, because I just think that you know, her style and approach. What didn't he like about it? Like, what was he criticizing?
He was saying that because, like, you think.
Hey, I'm sorry. That question is so simple, but it's just like, what is he criticizing?
Well, essentially,
Hey,
he
and too, I
was
think Q, you
saying.
might need some earphones or something. Q, or put your mic on mute whenever you ain't talking. I'm hearing a little feedback.
Essentially, what it was really all you could really say it was is that it was her aggression. He was saying that he was feeling like, and which is a part of Cole's theme was that is that, you know, when we talk to the people that we feel like don't have the information that we have, we should be more understanding and open with them, and not come at them in a way that would make them push back or want to fight back.
Hey, Q. This is my take on it right here. I think, especially after hearing you talk about it, especially hearing what you just said too. I feel like it was so straight to the point. It's basically like, you know, Martin Luther King's criticism in Letter to Birmingham, where he say that the, you know what I'm saying, the white moderates is people we got to worry about, because they'll say, hey, I agree with your goal, but I don't agree with the way that you're going about getting your goal. It's literally what J. Cole said to goddamn.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say. Yeah,
Nah, fam, it is, fam. I agree with your goal, but I do not agree with what you're saying. That's literally what J. Cole is saying, fam. He literally saying what he said. Martin Luther King say that white moderates tell niggas. I agree with your goals, but I don't agree with your tactics.
I feel like it's really great to see Q's face. I know her pretty well. I remember, and I still remember a situation at Texas, you know, when we were competing, and the way that, you know, we were talking to a team of Black men, and the way that they were kind of engaging us on these very questions kind of demonstrated to me that there's a feedback loop, that like sometimes you are trying to tell me to not give you the energy that you then produce. So when you tell me to calm down or fix my tone, or to sort of like fix my face, how I'm saying it, check my attitude, like the message is good, queen, just like how you giving it, that's a problem. And if I didn't have an attitude before, I probably got one now. Like, it makes
it's patronizing, it paternalizing,
it's condescending. Like I said earlier, it makes me less open. But I hope Q can remember that incident and just like, that's exactly how I feel about this situation, Karam. You know, gratefully that was able to be resolved by student dialogue and one of our colleagues, Ignacio Evans. You know, great sage advice. But
OG Iggy
had it. But
shout out to Ig.
It was a movement.
Okay. I'm going to talk for a second. Hopefully it's okay, but I'm logging in on my computer if it starts being really aggressive again. But I think, you know, you just can't ever justify tone policing. There's really not a justification for it. Affect is someone that people have the right to. Anger, people have the right to. And I think when you tell Black women in particular that they need to channel that anger in a way that's more comfortable for you, then you don't really understand how much space you're taking up in the first place. So I think that that's a misconception J. Cole has, is that they both have the right to X amount of space, and that she's coming at him in a way that would shut him down. But he needs to really reflect on, why is it that criticism makes you uncomfortable? Why is it that being confronted with your own values and your own lack of values towards Black women, why does that make you mad? If he had a reasonable response, he would have just said it. But the fact he had to come at it and criticize her for her tone says exactly what George was saying. You know, he doesn't have a criticism for the action. He just has a criticism for the way that she went about it. And, you know, that pisses me off, really.
Yeah, and that's why, and I hate that I mean, it's not y'all. Like, it's a group of people that they know who they are, and I'm sure they watching. And I gotta agree with them in a world where it's like, I want to push back. I want to have a knee-jerk reaction. I want to be able to say to these people who look for reasons that there's something else there. You feel me? But I can't do that. Like I think Q is 100% right when she says that you can't justify tone policing. Some messages require uncomfortability in order to learn. You gotta feel a certain type. Excuse me. You gotta feel a certain type of way to learn. And I think with men,
man.
especially when it comes to like our comfortability, like in our manhood, in our masculinity, you feel me? In our, whether we talking about patriarchy, all of that shit, in our misogyny, you know what I'm saying? There's a comfortability there that gets shifted, that gets staggered. You know what I mean? When strong sisters is, especially because niggas don't see the misogyny of, you know what I'm saying, in the movement. You know what I mean? Because the movement is like that strong black man image. That's a part of the movement. So niggas don't see the misogyny there. So when it's like, yeah, my sister, I get it, but it's like, no, nigga, if you get it, then get it. You feel me? And that's all it need to be. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Anything after that is you trying to justify the problematic shit that had the sister pissed off in the first place. You know what I mean? That's what niggas ain't getting. That Q says she gonna hop back on.
Yeah, man, we gotta be closing the conversation though. We gotta be hoping to get Q back.
I gotta ask you though. So what do you think? Like, so when I'm tired, because I'm already tired, do I just tag you in or whatnot? Because even this idea that Black women have some role in like nurturing uniquely or in teaching, like I'm exhausted. I'm sure you all are exhausted, but in terms of what are we doing, and in terms of like, if you two get the message and you two understand and we on the same page, then can I kind of like pull back some and then you go out and teach and learn and raise the community and whatnot? Or is it everybody's role to educate? Is it everybody's role to teach? And I ask that because if Black women are doing disproportionate amount of emotional labor, how do we redistribute that to some of you niggas who can do it and understand so it can be heard? Because sometimes like it's not just, I'm not gonna change how I'm saying something. I need you to hear me how I said it. I said what I said. And other times I'm like, okay, you need someone to teach you this message or to understand this or to grapple with this or to break this down or work through this. You know, everybody should go to therapy. Black people don't go to therapy enough. Black men, Black women, therapy, mental health services can be good. But at the same time, just like individually. So when I'm tired, do I just tag you in, George Damo? When me and Q are like, okay, we exhausted because on Twitter, everybody then told us that we need to and be more accessible. We read too many books. We be asking niggas to do too much. And we need to fix our tone. Like we need to
I think it got to be a redistribution of that labor. I think it has to be a redistribution of that labor, especially if I'm coming from the perspective that I know that privilege tends to listen to privilege, or if you don't like the understanding of privilege, power tends to listen to power. So I know that literally I can copy and paste shit that white I can literally repeat some shit that Black women have been saying for 100 years. And ain't nobody, it might fall on deaf ears. But me saying it, you know what I'm saying, to other Black men might make it where the message is heard differently because I'm saying it, you know what I'm saying? But that's the reason why I take up the shit that I take up in terms of talking about Black LGBTQ issues and talking about Black women, because I know that power is more likely to listen to power. And how I see it in terms of redistribution power is if you gotta always already be expected to be tired and being sick and tired of being sick and tired, I think that it makes it where you always exhausted. And you always just kind of depleted and ain't got no energy to kind of give. So I feel like it has to require some type of redistribution. You feel me? I know in liberal white spaces, they use the terminology of being an ally. Are you an ally? You an ally, Jaleesa? Are you an ally? And my mind is like, shit, let's go to the next level of the ally shit. If you're going to ride with me, you're going to be an accomplice. You feel me? Is you going to put yourself on the line like I put myself on the line? You know what I'm saying? If I'm putting myself on the line in terms of being tired of going to jail or being killed, is you going to match the energy? Or is you going to just send me out a tweet and say her name or some shit like that? You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, it's like, it's not tagging in. It's got to be some type of redistribution. But I recognize that other Black men have to take on an accountability and a responsibility to allow for it to be an expectation for this redistribution of wealth. Oh, I mean wealth too, but also labor. I meant to say labor, not wealth. Labor.
Good thing with your communist.
My broke ass.
I would say really quickly that it seems like the whole argument stems from the like not understanding Black women when they speak and the affect surrounding Black women. And that's pretty problematic because I think that, yes, it does require redistribution of power, but I think why can't it be heard when women say it? Like, I guess I'm still unpersuaded by the argument that there has to be a redistribution of power because that always cedes kind of power to men and says, let you tag team this for me and figure it out for me. And, you know, the issue with that is I don't love the idea of men disseminating it's like telling Black people, hey, I would love it if you would articulate your message in a demeanor that is more civil or more productive for the space that we're in. And it's like, why is that requirement upon Black women? You know, Black men hate professionalism, but why is that requirement on Black women then to figure out a way to communicate it to you that you understand it? And I think that the idea that you can't understand criticism when it comes from a woman's mouth, if it's negative, why is J. Cole totally fine with people rapping in songs about him, but not a Black woman criticizing him? Like, why is he okay with that and not the other? Why is it that he can have a civil conversation with some men who call him out, and he can't have a civil conversation with a Black woman who calls him out? I don't understand.
And that's that weakness. Right there is it speaks to the biggest issue. No, I mean that hit the nail right there on the head. Like you did it. I mean, you like when it came to Lil Pump, like he took some shots, but he specifically said he was bothered. he was specifically bothered with Noname. You feel me? But Q, what I want to ask you though is from when we talk about like that learning dynamic though, right? Like how do we go about that? Like because it's clearly a barrier that needs to be overcome, a communication barrier. Because when Black women express the threat of violence, the fear of violence, you know what I'm saying, like amongst Black people, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't really rise to the level of when Black men express, you know what I'm saying, their fear of death and violence when we talk about the system. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, we men have to take a responsibility in terms of being able to do that, and even if it's negative, but in a world where like we know that this obstacle exists, like this barrier exists. Yeah, you know I mean, how do we decide who gives in? You know what I'm saying? Because somebody got to in order for the shit to progress. So how do we decide? Like Jaleesa said, like who's the teachers? Who's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I think that, you know, they have been teaching, you know, I mean, so Junior fucking Truth, you know, has been saying for the longest time, you know, woman. I mean, there is the lesson. It's a question of why isn't it being taken up by the public? And I think that there's an investment in keeping masculinity in the hands of, like, you know, hyper masculine men. And I think that, you know, so when you ask what to do next, it's almost the same question. It's like asking a Black person, you know, like, how do we fix the race problem? I'm not the one invested in it, so I couldn't tell you how to fix it, honestly. You have to tell you what you're willing to give up in order to really be, you know, redistribute to Black women. And I think that, you know, the issue I have with redistribution is it's still so invested in power, and I think that
it is invested in that.
And
power doesn't go away, though. I feel like at some point there are power relations and dynamics between all of us in, for example, organizing space. Like, you know, when we, you know, back at Rock Chalk Invisible Hawk, we experienced a lot of these kind of sticky dynamics. And at some point, it's just like, I need Black men to talk to other Black men nice. I don't have no time right now to do none of this. I'm exhausted. Read a book.
I don't know. I'm probably, this is why I'm the like worst protester, because I end up just engaging in dialogue with people. And it does go to the point of my own detriment, because, you know, I think that there are a lot of Black men who are willing to be checked and are willing to be put in their spot. I think that you got to have both organizers, Black women and Black men, be able to work cohesively, but obviously that's not going to happen, and historically has never happened. So I don't know. My inability to answer that question is kind of why I felt screwed going at protests that I've been going to, because, you know, you're either yeah, there's an expectation of respectability upon Black women in particular, especially in zones of protest, and the idea of civility and how to act, and all of that home policing all ties back to one another. So I think that just cheering Black women for what they have to say, regardless of the tone they do it in, and spreading that message is really important, because a lot of times men can't criticize the actual words that Black men are saying. They can only criticize the method through which they go about it.
That's why I said reading is fundamental, because like I think Black women offer some of that language and lexicon as the sort of like vehicle or curriculum to relearn and to teach one another. I'm not saying that I think Black women by any means to just sort of abdicate power to Black men to teach themselves. That sounds like a horrible idea. But I'm just saying, like, there has to be some acknowledgement of more energy from Black men, hyper-masculine performing Black men in these spaces, because it's like, can't do this alone. As many people as I want to dialogue with, it does wear onto me after the fifth time I've engaged in something, or sort of, you know, repeated myself or exhausted myself. I'm not mad necessarily, but it's like, I don't need to hear like, you don't like how Jay is saying it. Like, and I don't like that I have to say it, is where we at.
Yeah, man. Because in my mind, it's like white folks telling Malcolm X he need to tone this shit down. He'd be more nicer. It's like, man, listen, that don't negate my message because you don't like the envelope I gave you the damn letter in, man. Read my goddamn letter and stop worrying about the glitter and shit on top of it. Get to it now. And I think that's the part that I think that when son he's saying talk to me nice becomes dangerous, because we know that dudes be so lost in the sauce of masculinity, they literally believe that a woman talking to them nice must mean they interested. And if you show me any interest, woman, goddamn it, if I give you an advance, you better not turn me down. And that's how we literally have this chop say her name, and we have Oluwatoyin, or we have literally a whole bunch of Black women being violated in spaces where they're going to advocate for the survivability and livelihood of Black men, and they being violated by Black men. It's like, that shit don't make no sense.
And I can't tell you the amount of protests, like the amount of times just at a protest I've had inappropriate comments made to me. Like the other day, I'll just recount one. There was one where a guy was like coming up to me and talking to me, and I was like, no, I'm not really in the mood. And he was like, why? Put a smile on your face. And I was like, oh my God, this is so old. And I've never been an angry person, so I just always respond to things with like snarkiness or like sass. That's always been my thing. But he was obviously not getting it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gay. And he goes, you know what, I can watch. And I was just like, you know, this is the shit that gets exhausting for Black women. These are the comments and the microaggressions that make it so that I don't want to shove in the space. And then you're concerned why I don't want you to be empowered. Then you want to stand up in front of a bunch of people and say, like, you know, rah, 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 Black rights. It's like, if you can't even understand the distinction between public sphere violence, like the shit you do in the public and Black men being killed, and private sphere violence, which is something me and Jay talked about a bunch in our debates. But this idea of private sphere violence, what goes on, and the outside, it's like, I would never say to
what goes on in my house, Q, stays in my house.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that kind of logic is really toxic. But I think that, you know, confronting that private sphere violence, confronting that hypermasculinity just takes eyes. You know, my dad's in the NOI, and I think that a lot of his shit is hypermasculine, and for the Nation of Islam. And I think a lot of his shit is hypermasculine, and when confronted about it, it's like there's 19 responses to the blanket criticism that you know, it is hypermasculine, and they're rehearsed. but none of them stem from actually hearing what's being said and the criticisms that are being levied, like specifically. It's always just like a like, no, the Quran says this, we got to have you dress modestly, we got to have you do this. And, that's the kind of logic that shaped the Black Power movement. That's the kind of logic that shows up in protest. And like, I think that I don't necessarily have the answer because Black women have been speaking and have been advocating, and there are enough resources for Black men out there, which is why Jay's reading is fundamental is important, because there is enough reading out there to learn how to engage in protest that is not so centered on ego. So yeah, maybe power is inevitable, but ego isn't, and I think that maybe drawing a distinction there is significant.
I think that's a mic drop. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, what I look like it. I mean, from what it sounds like, it's just like you niggas need to do the work. Like I think it's emotional work that's required in order to hear a rough around the edges, or not even rough, a raw, a uncensored. You know what I'm saying? Criticism of you. You know what I'm saying? You as a man, and be able to elevate above the initial feelings of being criticized and be able to see, this is, you know what I'm saying, this is how I do better. You know what I mean? I know she read books. Let me look at something. Let me read some of the books she read. You know what I'm saying? Let me pay attention to some more of the shit, which I feel like is something that he tried to say more towards the end of the song, where he admits that he himself ain't doing enough. You feel me? But because he centered a lot of the criticism in the verse, that becomes the narrative. And so I mean, and then I'll say this, and then I'll let y'all get y'all thoughts out, and we can close it out.
Yeah, about to say, I'll let them say what they're gonna say. Then I get the closing statements. We've been on for 2 hours a day. We on our old school.
Yeah, this how we used to do. This how we used to do. But look, but in terms of, I mean, first we're speaking with Toyin, Salau. You feel me? Those are the names that become even more tragic based off of how we as Black people treat them. You know what I mean? Like, say her name to me has the same frustration that I have with Black Lives Matter, because these are statements that shouldn't have to be said. Just like we shouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter, we shouldn't have to tell people, you know what I'm saying, say her name. You feel me? You shouldn't be reminded. Like, this is a Black woman who's on the front lines fighting the battle for Black people as a whole. Well, I mean, the least we could do is pay attention to the intra-racial violence, though. What you say, that private sphere violence? You feel me? Understand the impact that the structures that we fight in play out in our mentality in ways that we don't even really fully understand. You know what I mean? Just like when you talk about the NOI and their relationship to misogyny is like, what you mean? We think sisters cover it up and not understanding how that's misogyny. You know what I'm saying? like how that shit works. You feel me? And so because our sisters are dealing with what they dealing with, it's up to us niggas. Like, nigga, you gotta put your your ego to the side, eat that criticism, and grow. Period. Like, niggas, it's the most cliche thing to say is, it's like a in a cocoon, when you a caterpillar, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? It get uncomfortable in the cocoon right before you about to spread your wings. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Last thing I'll say is, like, I just read up on this and I was like a little bit shocked that he said that he tweeted the next day, no remorse. Like, he said, I stand by everything I said in my song last night, right or wrong. It's how I felt. It was honest. So it's like, even if I wasn't upset about what he did in the song, I am upset about like Black women being like, what the fuck are you doing? And him being like, I stand by it. And using some like shitty, lame form of emotional intelligence that's like, it might right or wrong. It was honest. Like, no, I don't believe all feelings are valid, and I'm actually maybe a bitch for believing that. But not all feelings are valid. If your feeling is like based in misogyny and shittiness, then that's not a valid feeling, and it doesn't come before Black women's feelings. So he didn't have the right to say, regardless of how you felt, or regardless of the actual implication. Like, basically, he said, "Fuck what you're feeling," because it was what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Fuck
And,
your
and,
feelings.
and
This
shout out
how
to
I feel.
Toya.
This how I feel though.
Me and Toya had this conversation earlier today, and that was her major frustration. It's like, not only was your timing bad, but you came back and doubled down. And Toya felt that he was a bit condescending when he was like, "Look, I don't read. She the one to read. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you feel me? I don't know shit. I'm just a rapping ass nigga." Yeah, I mean, it's like you dealing with something that needs to be handled with much more thought than how you dealing with it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, man.
because sometimes it do take taking a step back and being like, I mean, I get it. It was like, this is just how you felt. But again, like I've said what I felt
He's
about
Yeah,
it.
man.
and there's no excuse. I'm looking for part 2. I want to hear more of how he's working through this. I agree with a bunch of y'all sentiments. I'm a Black woman in America. I'm exhausted. I'm not about to talk to nobody nice. You gonna get it how you get it. If you don't like it, then don't eat here. I don't have nothing else really. It's not a restaurant. This
Yeah,
is
you gonna
like,
have it your way. This ain't Burger King.
yeah, but, I'm going to continue to try and be thoughtful about how I engage Black men. You know, everybody is not for everybody, and we are all humans, and we all have interpersonal relations. But we also have like larger connections to one another at, you know, the level of we're all trying to struggle against anti-Blackness, against white supremacy, against neoliberal capitalist exploitation, all of the, you know, homophobia, transphobia. Y'all need to struggle a little more, but we all struggling a little together. So I'm trying to be patient, but nonetheless disappointed and like exhausted.
Hey, and this is what I say in conclusion to wrap up this long ass segment of the chop up we had today, right? We started off with a conversation with J. Cole and tone policing. I think that J. Cole missed the mark in understanding that right now we have a lot of Black women and Black trans people that's being murdered in the streets by cops and by other niggas, man. So when it come down to tone policing, you feel me? Nigga really should have put that tone police hat on and shifted that shit towards, you know what I'm saying, the Black community as a
Your
whole and
own
Black
niggas.
men. You feel me? Because it's like peep game. J. Cole having a message and saying it to niggas is gonna register a whole lot different than whatever Noname could say in a tweet or in a song, because it's J. Cole talking to niggas. You feel me? With that being said, man, y'all make sure y'all don't forget this woman in Tallahassee, Toyin. She was putting her blood, sweat, and tears on the line, literally laboring for the livelihood of Black people, straight, gay, Christian, Muslim, Hebrew Israelite, whatever the hell you was. Toyin was for you. Next time you make you a hashtag, next time you call yourself rallying or protesting, next time you call yourself talking to some friends, and you say some shit about Black Lives Matter, make sure you be very purposeful and intentional when you talk about Black women or you talk about Black trans people. Other than that, don't talk about Black Lives Matter and you got some asterisks to that shit. You feel me? Be real. Say Black Lives Matter, but only the Black people that fuck the way y'all fuck. If you're gonna say Black Lives Matter, but only to the Black men that I think that's real niggas. Be real with your shit though. Be very purposeful and intentional with your language. That's the main thing we want you to get from this episode today. The chop up.
Rest in power, Brianna. Rest in power, Toyin.
Rest in power, Rihanna. Rest in power, Toyin. Shit, say your name, Miana Dior, and y'all better. I encourage. I'm gonna leave this with a request of action. You feel me? I challenge each and everybody to go to Google. It's a list of over 100 Black women names that's been murdered by the police. A lot of us, and myself included, can only rattle off maybe 5 names. Go learn these women, man. Yeah, my bad. I can't hear nothing. I don't know what's happening to my mic messed up again.
Oh shit.
Oh no, I'm back. I'm back now.
Oh no, that was me. I was talking. I was on mute.
You
Like,
were talking on mute. I was
I didn't know what Dumbo was talking
yeah.
about. Yeah, man.
I
Hey,
was,
it's the chop up, man.
talking on
We out.
mute.
You
I
feel-
was talking
we
on
out.
mute.
We out. We out, man. Hey, y'all make sure y'all
Hey,
follow my you know what I'm saying, my backup page. You feel me? I be on my conscious the conservative shit. You feel me?
Hey, Jaleesa,
I
do
you know
you
I'm trying
got
to get my bootleg
your
on.
social media though? What's your social media? Tell the people your social media.
what? I don't
Oh, you
really.
don't got to if you don't want to though. You know, this
I
is
don't
a
really
free
got
plug.
social media like that. I got like an Instagram or something like that, or a
Yeah, what's the
Twitter.
Insta?
What's
What's
your
your
Insta?
Insta?
It's like, yo, what's your Insta? What's your IG?
My Instagram is _Royal Rumble.
Hey,
_Royal _Royal _Rumble.
bet. She on there. She lit. She
Yeah, man.
doctor soon. So y'all step y'all game up. But anyway, hey, it's been real. Follow us everywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Google, whatever. You feel me? You can find us on TikTok, or me and George at least, at the Political Plug. George at the Conscious. You can find us on IG at the Chop Up Show, Facebook, all that other good shit, YouTube. It's been real, man. I know it's late, but this has been the Chop Up.
The chop up.
And it is ending now.